Hello y'all in YouTube, this is Rob from Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today I have a little review for you on the Vosteed Thunderbird. A very interesting knife here that you can see that I very much enjoy. This knife here has this wonderful kind of a G10 Damascus, I don't even call it topo, I think it's called topo red and black G10. So it's like a topo carbon topography kind of a design. The way it flows together is really nice, and you can see it's all the way through. This is a very unique knife because it is a button lock, but this is not your traditional button lock. This is called a Trek lock. This is a little different. It works inside of there. It's supposed to be a lot sturdier and other things, so that's really interesting. We'll talk a little bit more about that once we get into the review, but I can just tell you that this is going to be a very much recommended knife. I'll just give you a hint. I really like this knife a lot. It is almost a full-size knife, so let's go ahead and look into get a little measurement on here. The knife itself right here, if we go from the top of the handle to the bottom, is 4.5 inches. So it's 4.5 inches on the handle or the scales. And then if we actually did it from the top of where this front flipper part is, it's a little bit past 4.5 inches. It's almost 4.75 of an inch. So pretty large knife here, I would say. Let me just make sure I got that measurement right. Was that 4.5? No, it was 4.75. I was wrong. I was looking at the wrong thing. So it's 4.75, almost 5 inches long on the handle. That's pretty large. So let's go ahead and flip this open. As you can see, there's multiple ways to open this. We have a front flipper, we have a traditional flipper, we have a fuller with a hole, so you can, and then even a fuller right here without a hole that you can use every one of these, and then a button lock. So I'd say there's 5 or 6 different ways you can open this. So here's the flipper, and you can see that here. I'll go ahead and close that, and you can see the button lock works really nicely. It drops really nice. The front flipper works really nice as well. The reverse hole works really nice. You can do it front flipper like that as well, and you can do the button lock like that. And then you can use the fuller line down here if you just get underneath it like that. So there you go, quite a few ways to open it, but let's go ahead and measure the blade on that. As you can see, it's a Tonto blade, dual grind. This part right here, and I don't know if you can tell, but that part right there is a hollow grind. Let's see if we can get a little bit of an angle on there. So that's a hollow grind, and then this front right here is pretty much a flat grind, but it's a little thicker, sturdier grind right there. And I love the front. Comes out to a very sharp point, as you can tell right there. Very sharp tip, but I mean, solid blade, really well. So let's go ahead and measure that. So looks like the blade itself is going to be all the way to the end. It's 3.5 inches, right? And then cutting edge is going to be about 3 1/8 inch. Yeah, 3 1/8 inches of cutting blade. So that's the total length from here to here, and then from here to here is 3.5. So we're looking at 3 and let me just double measure that again. Sorry, going from the very tip. So it's 3 1/4. 3 1/4 of cutting, and then 3.5 of total length of the blade. Yeah, so 3 1/4 and 3.5. So that's pretty nice, pretty generous, and I really do like this. I mean, it's very slight, but it is a hollow grind. I don't know if you can capture that on the light or you can see it or not, but that is a hollow grind. And this right here, the steel itself is, well, it says Vosteed and the little emblem on there, but on the back you can see that it is, yeah, here it is. Let's see if we can get that on camera. S35VN. So it's CPM S35VN steel. So that's really nice. All right, so that's the length. Let's go ahead and get a weight on this right here. So let's go ahead and get the scale out here, and we'll just do a quick measurement on that. And let's see how much this weighs. All right. 3.45 inches. So it was about 3.5 inches total length, 3 1/4. So you're almost in that perfect ratio center there. So that's not bad. 3.46 ounces. All right. So that's cool. All right. So that's our weight on there. And let's go ahead and take a look at the blade's thickness and the blade stock. So we'll go ahead and make sure we're zeroed out here. All right. So we'll go in here and kind of get a little measure of that. All right. So it looks like it's, yeah, it's 0.12, so it's 0.1205, so 0.12 inches, so it's 1/120th of an inch. So that's pretty good, not bad at all, not bad at all. So that's our blade stock. So it's pretty robust for a thin knife. It's not got a wide handle at all. I do like that a lot, so that's pretty cool. that's a little bit some of the things that I think are basic about this knife, but pretty light. G10 makes it very comfortable. It's got some texture on the G10 right there, and I don't know if you can see that. There's texture, so it gives you some grip. You definitely aren't going to drop this knife. And this, this button lock, when it locks, it's pretty quiet. That's what I've noticed. It's pretty quiet button lock. That's really cool. So it does work really well. I'm trying to flip this on the side here, and typically I would flip up like that, but that goes toward the camera. So I'm trying to do it for the angle for the shot. So there we go. But that is really nice. I do like that, and it works really well left-handed as well, which is nice because, as you can see, you can reverse the clip. The clip will go left-handed or right-handed, so you can move it over here. So if you're lefty, then it can work just really well over there as well. So that's nice. And it works real well in my left hand, and I have no problems working it left-handed as well as a right-hander. And if you're a left-handed, I think you would really love this as well. So that is pretty cool. Again, I love the multiple deployments. Makes this such a fidgety knife, even though the button lock sticks up like that. One thing I have noticed when I hold it up here, I'm not anywhere close now. If I choke up all the way up here, even the way I choke up, I'm up here, I'm not going to roll my hand over like this right here. I don't think I'm going to release that unless I'm trying to meat handle the knife like this. But if I'm choking up, I'm telling you, my finger is going to be right here, because I don't want it to slide and for me to cut my hand at all. So that's what I'm really going to try to avoid. And I'm trying to speak loud because my family in the background is super loud right now, so I apologize to you guys. But anyways, so right there, I'm trying to avoid that noise, what have you, that lockup, if you will. So that right there is what works for me. Now, if I do need to choke up on this, and I'm all the way up, I'm away from the button again. I'm away from the button. But if I come all the way up here and I wrap around, again, for me, my hand's going to wrap around. My finger's going to be right there. I'm not going to be locking that button. But this is a very unusual grip for me to have. I guess I would have to be cutting something really hard. But if I'm doing that, I think I'd rather be down here, because then I feel like I can get a little better cut at it, right? Or I could probably use my thumb to leverage that slice. And if I'm doing a precision cut and I'm coming all up here, I'm not anywhere close to that. So that's very different as well. So that's, for me, the comfort is amazing. Oh, by the way, beautiful copper backspacer. It's such a nice touch. It really just was a surprise when you see it. It's very pretty. It's going to patina so nicely after a bit of use. But this is a very fidgety knife. I really enjoy carrying a lot. But I've been carrying a bunch of different knives lately because I've been reviewing them as well, so haven't had a chance to carry this as much as I would like. Fidgety. Yes, this is beyond fidgety. And what I love about it is I can fidget this knife and it doesn't get super loud and annoying like some of my other knives where I'm asked to stop. And this is front flipper right here works really well. This is the way it comes up like this, the angle of that front flipper coming up with the jimping all the way around. I can do the very top of the front jimping like that, or I can just push it to the side like that, and then the jimping over here, it's very easy to pull down like that, or I could even do a jimping like, a flipper like that with a thumb, which is nice. And then of course you can always use the button lock, open and close, which is always nice. And I love the fact that I can reverse flick that. And this hole up here, especially for this hole right here, if I get my thumb in there, very easy to thumb flick like a thumb stud, right? So very easy to open, and the reverse flick is really nice. And then if I'm down here and I want it to just kind of use the fuller down there, I just got to make sure I'm in it and get underneath it. Now typically I would be down like that. I would be down a little further, and I'd flip out, usually forward if I'm going to do that. So that would be a little bit more like how I would do it, like that. Anyway, so that's the Thunderbird by Vosteed. I really like this a great deal. There's two versions. This is the red one, and I believe there's a green one, a topo green as well. I like the red because I like to carry something red on Fridays, and to me that's important. I do that, and when I make a note about it, I do it because I support our active U.S. military. Very important to me. So my recommendation on this knife, I think this is a fantastic knife. It's a great buy. You're getting CPM S35VN steel, which is a great steel, high corrosion resistant, tough, easy to sharpen. good wear, great steel. You're getting a bunch of deployments. So if you don't like to do front flipping, you can do a regular flipper. If you don't like that, you want to use the fuller hole, like a reverse flaking, you can, or front flipping, you can. All of that is there. It has multiple options. I believe the Spyderco clip would fit in there, so I believe you can get the replacement, the one like from Lynch or something that's a full clip if you don't like the wire clip. But I don't mind this wire clip. This is a pretty solid wire clip. Sometimes some of these are a little weak and they move all over the place, and that to me is the most annoying. But this is pretty good, and it is relatively deep for such a large knife. The blade comes all the way to here. It does go a little further. I mean, this part right here does extend out. You could probably have cut out maybe that very front tip part there if this wasn't so far out there. But I think they did that for the blade and part of the look. It just gives it a really kind of a cool sort of sporty look. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. It's sort of like a sports car to me. And especially with that Tonto blade, and then with the hole right here, the fuller line. Yeah, I don't know, just very beautiful aesthetic. And man, I'll tell you, that button lock just works really nicely, and it's not loud, and it's solid. And when it's in there, it's in there. It's not questionable, right? And then when it's down there, it's like a detent. It's really solid in there as well. So that is fantastic. And it's state center, no issues as well. I like that a lot. I haven't had any issues with it getting loose or anything like that, so that's really fantastic. So these are a few of the things that I highly recommend about this knife. I did discover that this is a T10 and sorry, T8 and T8's right there, and that is a T6 right there. So I don't know if you can see that, T6, T8, T8. So 1, 2 here with that, and on this side there's only one here. So this is really for the I believe this is just for the clip, but I think it might go into that back spacer. Now that I look at it, yeah, it does look like it probably goes into the back spacer, I suspect, especially where that screw comes in. So I'm sure both of these attach, so you're going to need a T6 and a T8 for that. But otherwise, it's really nice. Really enjoyed this. I can't recommend it enough. I mean, it's a great buy. This is definitely going to be in my recommended knives and recommended inexpensive knives. If you get a chance to get your hands on one of these, I would say go get one. This is a great knife. This is, even if you like high-end knives or low-end knives, it's a great knife. And this is something everyone should have because it's so useful, and it's just a great buy, and it's a great useful knife as far as I'm concerned. So again, the Vosteed Thunderbird, great knife. You could get a chance to get your hands on one of these. My recommendation, thumbs up, definitely get it. If you like my content, you like this review, or you found any value in this, if you'd consider maybe liking the video, I'd appreciate it. Maybe subscribing. That would be really appreciated. It helps me know whether this content's of value or helps bring any worth to you guys. And it also allows me to continue to make other content. Also, if you get a chance, if you wouldn't mind checking me out on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. That's robs_nerdy_knives. I'd appreciate that as well. You guys have a great day and a great week. Thanks so much. Bye.